So now that we had a very close look at the whole Express middleware thing and how routing works in Express and how we can use it to our advantage, how we can filter routes and so on, let's actually start working on what we serve to the user. Thus far, it has always been some dummy HTML content, but you're probably not in the course to just learn how to build dummy HTML content. So let's return some real HTML files to the user that also don't look like crap. For this, I'll create a new folder in my project and I'll name it Views. Now, that name is up to you. You can also name that folder whatever you want, but in that course, we will slowly go towards a MVC, model view controller structure, and I will explain what this is a little bit later. One part of it is that we manage our views, so what we serve to the user, in one place of our application in the views folder here. Now, the views will just be a bunch of HTML files here though. So we'll create a new file, and that will be my shop.html file. It's the file I want to serve for users visiting just /. And I also want to have my add product file here. So I'll add product.html. Later, by the way, in case you already know the concept of templating engines, we'll use these two so that we can dynamically add content into the HTML files. But for now, let's just start with these files. So let's start here in add product HTML. And now here's one important note. If you're not interested in writing that HTML code, you can skip this lecture now and find the finished HTML code attached to this and the next lecture. So if you want to skip, you can do that and just follow along in the next lecture where I will provide that finished HTML code. Otherwise, let's now create it together. So in this add product HTML file, I'll now create a new HTML5 skeleton, and Visual Studio Code helps you with that. As you saw, if you just type HTML, it should open this pop-up. If it doesn't, you can force it by typing or by hitting Control and space, and then navigate to HTML5 with the arrow keys and hit Enter. And it gives you this nice skeleton, which basically defines a basic, HTML skeleton. Now here, I'll change the title to add product, and in the body, there I now want to have my form. I don't just want to have the form in there though, I also want to have some navigation bar that allows me to switch to my shop HTML page, to the / route, and the other way around. So here I will first of all add a header, and in that header I'll add a nav bar, and in that nav bar I'll add an unordered list with list items, which are links, where I go to /, so this is just my shop, and then another list item, add product, which will be /add product. This is the page we're on here, but I always want to show both options. Obviously, you can write the HTML code that fits your needs. So this is the header. It will be pretty unstyled for now. We'll add styling too. And now let's add a main section too. So this is also a normal HTML element, which holds or which should hold the content of our page here. And there I want to have my form with the action that is also add product. Remember, here we're then targeting this post route. And in there, I will add my post method. And I will now also add my input here, the input of type text with a name of title. And I will add my button of type submit here, which I'll label add product. Now, we will add more to this form later because a product is obviously not just made up of a title. But for now, this will do. We got our form in here. Let's now copy that entire HTML code and paste it into the shop HTML file. And there, of course, in the main section, I don't want to have a form. Instead, a h1 tag, my products, and below that, later in the course, we will render all the products. So here we will have a list of all the products. Right now, we don't have that, but we'll get there once we learn how to manage data on the server and so on. Now, the rest of the page can stay the same for both pages. And again, as I mentioned, styling is missing. Let's now move on to the next lecture, where the goal will be to serve these HTML pages before we then work on the styling.